OK, right, we've gone through the 3 big races at Cheltenham. We're now going to sort of take a look at some of the other horses that have done well. I mean, King's Palace was one that won really well, and Petite Zig very recently. I mean, how does it all stack up for you?
Yeah, Petite Zig's very interesting, not particularly for that horse, but just a line of form for the best handicap form. I thought we saw New Year's Day at Cheltenham, won by Splash of Ginge. Huntball in second, and Card de Burley, who represented obviously the Paddy Power Gold Cup. Then we got pulled out before that. It made me have a re-look actually at Splash of Ginge, and I'd undercooked it a little bit for his win in the Betfair Hurdle last year. Now, when you look at that, Splash of Ginge in first, Outker in second, Irish Saint in third. To what they're doing for the form now, it all makes sense. I know I raised that up to 159 Splash of Ginge is form, which in turn, when we're talking about that trip over the same course in distance with Petite Zig ran in against Wonderful West. Wonderful West, is it? Wonderful
Charm?
Champagne West.
Champagne West. One of them. I had him performing over the same course and distance, so a mark of 166. So that tells you that the likes of Splash of Ginge has got to improve £7 on that kind of form. But Petite Zig was very impressive. The question mark for me before the race was, would he stay? I know he promised to stay from some of his form that he showed over in France. But I don't know, I was disappointed with the finishing kick of the second horse that day. As well, for a horse that I thought might lose 3 miles, and I'm slightly questioning whether that horse does now.
I thought Petite Zig ran really well. I mean, the question marks are obviously another Mullins star from last year, Vautour. I mean, you see the Horlicks of a mistake it made to even finish second was.
But Undersow has fallen as well. You know, these are the two. Well, Undersow is the market leader in that race considerably. I actually, out of the two, I've got a funny feeling Vautour end up in this race. I know how highly they do think of this horse, and I know Undersow's been in eye-catching in the way he does it, but I'd be so fearful of. I'd love to see the both of them in it. You never get it, but you know it'd be amazing.
It'd be interesting to see because Vautour is entered, and I think he's going to definitely run at the end of January at Leopardstown.
I'd be amazed if they didn't want to get at least maybe two more.
Well, I think there'd be one, and I think
that'd be one.
Yeah, I think that'll be one.
And might get the schooling session they put on sometimes as well.
Yeah, possibly. But there's a big race at Leopardstown at the end of January, and I think that'll go there. RSA Chase, King's Palace. Which is one of your lays of the day, I do believe, on the day. But it jumped perfectly.
Yeah, but I mean, you sent me a text afterwards, which is very, very true, and I think it's very relevant. The pace was very different.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
You know, before he went off quick, and this time it was like, actually, we're going to reserve a bit of energy, and it was running a completely different. The horse is in behind, because he jumps like so well. He puts everything else behind under enormous pressure. That's not going to be the case when it comes to March. And over that kind of trip, I prefer him a little bit shorter, personally. I think he's got a lot of speed.
I mean, interestingly, got an entry to the Gold Cup today as well, King's Palace, which
I
get it speculative.
Disappointed last year. I think
maybe if the race cuts up, I suppose, wouldn't it? And you can't blame the trainer for the sake of
and you've got
the entry
the young master in this race as well, entered that. I mean, can the young master keep
the
on
controversial horse of the
can that keep on improving,
season?
the young master?
I think he can. I think he has done. I mean, I had him improving half a stone between the victory that wasn't the victory at Wincanton. He's got a lot to learn, the horse. You know, he did have that tendency at Wincanton to go out to the left, and I noticed that again when he ran at Ascot. He has got a lot to learn, but I like that because, you know, there is that more progression to come, and I generally believe that, not obviously in time, he could well turn out to be a Gold Cup horse.
Okay, anything else at all at Cheltenham?
Yeah,
Billy?
I think if you're looking for a banker, I think Aurore d'Estrevaux in the Mare's Hurdle is probably what I would call the banker at this stage.
When Annie Power's going to be in it.
Absolutely. Aurore d'Estrevaux, I want to quickly speak about this form. It made not a lot of the race, stepping up with 2.5 miles. I rated that performance 165, which is a £4 improvement when meeting Irvine. The reason I've got that, Gevelius Millie was in third. The horse beat that 5 1/4 lengths. Now, that horse has got plenty of form on soft and heavy ground, so it's not a condition. I think it's run its race. That horse was second to Glenn's Melody last year. In turn, Glenn's Melody were behind Cavega. When you're using that line, I tell you what, Annie Power, even if it turns up at the Med, will have a right fight in his hand against that. I think she's very, very good.
I think it's tough. Can't go without mentioning the bumper, can I? Obviously, being a massive bumper fan.
I don't know, you were, the bumper's even hard on the day of the day before, let alone 2 months before.
Well, Moon Racer interests me. Irish horses end up with David Pipe, really good horse, and I'm pleased to see there was a few talk that it might change, go over hurdles, but that's going to be in the market around 14 to 1. I wouldn't be surprised to see that far away. A couple of unraced ones that you haven't probably seen out yet. All Court did Tour of Willie Mullins, 16 to 1. He's got about 9 million horses for this. Bondarini's probably the most impressive impressive one that we've seen out so far in the Rich Ritchie colours. That's a 12-to-1 shot. I love the race as a spectacle, the bumper. You know, you've only got to remember Q-Carb won it at 40-to-1. I seem to remember. So good horses do win. Yeah. Good horses do win the Cheltenham bumper. It's always one to watch.
Champagne Fever win it as well.
Champagne Fever, beat Peak Sue in second.
Absolutely. Right, OK. Let's talk about, we've got a couple of minutes left. How do you bet Cheltenham, Billy?
I wait until probably the Monday and then start having a proper look. For me, it's all about the handicaps. So, you know, if you think you're going to make a load of money getting the champion holder right, you will on any one year. But it's the handicaps to me where the value is, as always. A good look at the handicaps. There'll be 33 to 1, 40 to 1 winners, and make sure you're on them.
So you don't enjoy the choosing like I do, then?
Yeah, I mean, how we bet, I'm very, very similar. Last minute, I very rare do anti-post wagers for the reason that you alluded to earlier, Peter, was that bookmakers at this time of year, they will offer you a price and you get tempted and you go, that Cheltenham is fiercely competitive. The bookies will be out to get your money. Just hold your horses because you'll get better prices later in the year. Just unless you've got a horse that's 33s that you know is going for a certain race and you might get a bit of value. But generally, especially these shorter prices, I mean, just leave it. Just leave it for now.
Steam in, it only happens once a year. No, I'll give you a prime example.
There's no 4 to 7 shots.
No, I'll give you a prime example of what Matt means. You've got Don Polly, who comments were after one of his races, it's going to go for the 4-miler, going to go for the 4-miler. This horse is too good to be going for the 4-miler, and if you do want to take the price now, it's 3-to-1 in places. You know, do you want to be sitting on 3-to-1 for a horse that may... You know, the 4-miler, you're not going to get your money back if it doesn't run. If it's not non-runner, no bet.
And I remember this quite distinctly from last year. Irvine won at Kempton, I do believe. And for the Supremes, he was cut into 5-2. I think we were talking about it, Irvine. On the day, Vitor comes along and Irvine drifts in price. Irvine fills down the field. But what they do is they suck you in after a particular race and go, right, we're going to bang you in to 5-2, 9-4. Everyone sees that and think, oh, I lump on. You know, if you're an astute gambler or you're astute at your horses, wait until the week before.
And whatever, do not lose all your money on the Supreme novices.
OK, yeah, because favourite never wins. Billy, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Peter,
for joining us, and hopefully we've given a good insight. Matt, thank you.
Thanks, Peter.
Very, very quickly, we've got a half-hour show coming up very soon.
Yeah, we have Value Racers Class Act, which is going to be starting on the Tuesday the 27th between 6 and past, and that will be dissecting the weekend form and what it really means. So it's for everyone and professional-minded people.
OK, lovely. Sam?
Yeah, no problem. Just need to mention one more. Die Bando. That's all I need to say.
Well, on that note, he always does an obscure one right at the end. That's it. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. We are back, as I said, on Saturday, Sky 212. See you then.